Welcome back to the Chasing Tone podcast with me, your host, Max McGovern, and my friend Blake Weiland from the Tone Mob podcast. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, Max. It's nice to talk to you today.
Yeah. It's Mac, not Max. Mac McGovern. Get it straight.
Mac McGovern.
Mac McGovern.
Mac McGovern. Okay, Mac. I'm just curious. What did you do with Wampler?
Well, I got a cease and desist from Leslie Wampler, who is apparently co-founder of Wampler Pedals.
A cease and desist from Leslie himself?
Yeah. Apparently Leslie's like Brian's aunt or niece or something, uncle.
I think it's
like
his
that.
brother.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, that's right. His brother. Yeah, long lost brother.
His brother Leslie, right?
Yeah. So, had to get me on the show instead.
Well, Mac, how you been?
I've been well. How have you been, Mr. Blake?
Oh, I've been really warm. It's really hot, and I don't like it. Other than that, it's okay. Because I'm here podcasting with Mac, and it's great. That's the highlight of my week.
You can't say the B word. Cease and desists.
I shall. CC desisty is what I hear people are calling it. Hashtag CC desisty is.
I didn't. I learned something new.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so if you don't want to be ever receiving one of them hashtag CC desisties. That's not something you want. That's for sure.
That's what I hear. And speaking of the old cease and desist, or desist. Speaking of the, the lawyer stuff, I hear that there's a big to-do in the pedalboard world.
Yeah, there is. I don't know how much you've got to look into it. I know you're a busy man, Mr. Wampler. Mr. McGovern.
This is not a Wampler podcast anymore.
It's a McGovern. Mr.
That's
McGovern.
Right.
Yes.
I am the new host, Mac McGovern.
This is going to be tough for me, but I'm going to try to play this game.
Has anyone ever told you that laughter sounds fake and forced?
I have heard that, and I don't know what to do about it.
My first time hosting, I just thought I might point it out, maybe work on that for the next episode, okay?
All right, yes, sir, Mr. McGovern, sir.
All right. So the pedalboard world, and I caught some of 60 Cycle Hums podcast where they were talking about some pedalboard problems in the law area, I guess you could say.
Right.
I don't know much about it because I had my head down, really diving into some of the more businessy, like unfun spreadsheet type stuff. So it's not been it's not been one of those fun weeks where I can breadboard a bunch of stuff and just play guitar.
Right.
But but I saw Brian did make a few videos. So
he's no longer with the company though, right?
Yeah, he had to be let go.
Right. Brian Wampler had to be let go from the company at the request of his brother Leslie. So we hired Mac, and he's going to fill in. I did, before we dive too much into the CC desisty, I had a question about the former president of Wampler Pedals a couple weeks ago, or maybe even last episode. I can't remember. We were talking about the King of Tone. And Brian said that he had loaned his King of Tone to someone, and he couldn't recall who. But lo and behold, today, I see that the former president of Wampler Pedals had a little video talking about the King of Tone on the old Instagram stories.
Could be true. Now, you can't believe everything you see on the internet, but yeah.
What? Okay, all right, Mac. Well, whatever you say. Just wondering if Brian was able to track down that particular friend, or if he had just remembered that he actually did receive it back and had falsely accused someone on the air.
That is actually a different King of Tone.
Oh, okay.
Sadly. Sadly.
Oh, so the other King of Tone's still missing.
It is long gone. Yes,
Blast.
sir.
Ah, nuts.
Those things happen, though.
They do.
There's a lot of times where, Brian will trade something with someone and forget who he traded what to.
Right.
And who to, I mean, And so it happens.
Don't tell him. I already reminded him once, but don't tell him I have his Leviathan still.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Don't tell him.
I might have to make a little note here. Okay,
no, don't,
right?
Mac. Don't. Let's just keep this between you, me, and the fence post. All right.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Anyway. So tell me all about what I'm missing.
So
in the gear world,
basically the latest gear drama, which is it's funny how every couple months or couple weeks, whatever, semi-regular rotation, there's gear drama. It's like Kim Kardashian slapping her sister or something, but it's in the gear world. It's kind of interesting.
That's exactly the analogy I would use. Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay. That's what I'm going to say. So what happened was, as far as what you can absorb from the interweb chatter, is Creation Music, who makes really nice high-end pedalboards, received a cease and desist from a larger company saying they were infringing on a patent that they had for their pedalboards. And that got a lot of people upset, let's just say, because Creation has a lot of, is a very, very loyal and, rightfully so, has a very loyal customer base. It'd be kind of like someone's, saying, you know what, Wampler, you have to cease and desist that Euphoria. Your customers would probably have a thing or two to say to that company.
Well, I did have a cease and desist on the Ecstasy.
That's true. Yes, you did.
Mm-hmm. Which then became the Euphoria.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of what I was hinting at. But I'm sure, people have had a thing or two to say about that at times.
And then we had the Ace 30 pedal that got cease and desisted, which then became the 30-something pedal.
Right. So you've been through this before on the receiving end. What's that like? That's a perspective that hasn't been discussed yet.
Well, the first time you go through it, it's, not to make this yet another business episode, but the first time you go through something like that, I guess so.
Yeah.
The first time you go through it, it's extremely stressful, and I think there's different steps of growing a business that, you go through one thing and you're like, oh, that's so stressful. And then you get through it, makes you a little stronger. And then something bigger happens. You're like, holy crap, how am I going to get through this? And you get through that. And, so you kind of grow from it and stuff doesn't affect you as much. So the first time I got a cease and desist, I was like, holy crap, what am I supposed to do with this? So does this mean I have to get a lawyer? That sort of thing.
Right.
And the answer to anyone wondering is yes, have a lawyer. Don't reply back. Have your lawyer do it. Anyways, so, when the second time it happened, I was like, And I talked to my lawyer, who then talked to their lawyers. And, after gigantic sums of cash later, we came to an agreement. And that's usually how that works. And it's not that, I'm paying, the company's involved with the cease and desist with us before. It's not that I paid them any money. It's that lawyers cost a lot of money, And so, you talk and for every minute going by, you're like, oh, there goes $10. There goes $10,
Mm-hmm.
So, so you try to make your conversations as brief as possible, but you still have to get work done. So at the end of the day, I got sidetracked. At the end of the day, if it's your first time, it's very, very stressful. But you'll get through it because what I didn't realize at the time is that a lot of the cease and desist stuff, it really takes someone willing to litigate to really be fruitful. For example, there's other companies that send out cease and desists every 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're like, yeah. You're not going to sue anything. So we're going to continue using the word volume on our pedals. Sorry, you don't you don't own that trademark. I'm sorry. You know?
Right. And good luck, if you did decide to sue for that.
Yeah. So, and there are companies out there that have trademarked, terms such as that. There's one, I don't want to mention that one, but there's another company that trademarked, I think, True Bypass or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know why, and I don't know if anything happened with it, but I do know that someone trademarked something around the word True Bypass. But, I've never seen anything happen with this, so everybody still uses it. But that kind of brings you to another part of enforcing that. If you just don't enforce it, then it kind of loses all of its power.
Right.
You know what I mean? So in this situation, what is the? It's a patent thing, right? It's not a trademark thing. It's
exactly. Yes.
So what exactly is going on there? They can't. How much of it do you know? I mean.
So I did some digging in the actual patent itself, and I don't have the number in front of me. I'm sorry. At least the one I'm 99% sure is the one that's being referenced. I don't, I'm not privy to all the details, so I don't know. But the main part of it is it's an angled board, supported by a frame, with a surface for mounting effects on. And the big kicker seems to be the fact that it's designed to let cables pass through. Because, for instance, flatboards and stuff seem to be okay, which makes sense. It'd be really, really difficult to put a patent on a flat piece of board. But
yeah, I mean, I think pretty much everyone angles their boards, though, right?
Pretty much. I mean, Creation makes some flatboards, and there's some other companies that make flatboards, just because some players like flatboards. I prefer an angle myself, but there are some people who like flatboards, and so there's companies that provide that for them. And that seems to be all hunky-dory. It's the fact that there's an angle, and then the cables can go through, and it's for, then there's I think the frame has something to do with it. It's hard to know for sure without being a lawyer, probably, what specific part of it is the big one, but I think it's a combination of those things that's being enforced. When I read it, that's what my layman lawyer abilities kind of discerns, basically. So yeah, I mean, to your point, that seems like everybody angles their boards. Somebody, almost everybody, right?
Pretty much. I don't know, man. I guess I keep coming back around to if like I said, I have not looked at anything to do with the patent. Even if I had read it, it probably wouldn't mean much to me because I'm pretty stupid. So, at least in that, like I said, I'm good at about 1% of things, and reading legal stuff is not one of them. Where's I going with this?
Well, we were talking about the enforcement.
Something shiny just dropped in front of my face, and I totally lost my thought. Okay, so if everyone is using angled boards, and they haven't been sent cease and desists, I just don't know. Is that even is that enforceable now? I mean, if that did go to court, would they say, well, now everybody does that, and so you kind of lost any power of your patent?
No, I would think so, because there are lots of pedalboard manufacturers. Some are not as well known as Creation, but there are lots of pedalboard manufacturers that manufacture very similar products to what we're talking about here. That's in the cease and desist, very similar. So yeah, if you don't enforce on any of them, how and we know that patents have to be enforced or you basically lose the patent. So how does that hold up in court? I don't know. It hasn't made it to court yet, so I don't know. That's the biggest thing.
So Blake, is there any other design attributes that patent covers that maybe more than just the angle?
Well, I mean, I think it's a combination of everything. I'm pretty sure the biggest part is the fact that, because I mean, anybody could put a board at an angle for any purpose. That's called a ramp.
Right.
I think the point of it is like that it's purpose designed for like effects pedals, and then the fact that cables like pass through the bottom. I'm pretty sure that is like a deciding factor. I mean, that's what it. There again, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know, but that's what I would assume as a layman.
Okay. See, because I'm thinking because if it was just it's used for effect pedals. Well, that's why they're called pedalboards. So there again we go to is it has it been done so much that the patent wouldn't hold? I don't know. We have trademark issues. I don't know if anyone is aware of this, but there's in a few other countries where apparently they don't give a crap about any sort of patents or trademarks in America. Mm-hmm. There's been other companies that have tried to make our pedals and pass them off as a legitimate thing, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, it's not big countries. It's some little smaller countries, but there's one big country. But, with the way their government works, there's nothing we can do really. There's just you just can't stop it. Mm-hmm. If you find I think China, is one of them, and if you find a Chinese Nighke shoe in China, Nighke might be able to, but Wampler pedals can't stop.
Wait, who?
It doesn't have doesn't have the tremendous amount of zeros in the bank account to make that come to a close. And, doesn't have friends and government.
I'm sorry,
and stuff
I got to stop
that.
you for just a second. What kind of shoe was that?
Nighke.
There you go. Okay.
Did I say Nighke?
I think you just said Nighke. I was like, what kind of I was like seriously confused for a second. That's hilarious. I was like, what's a Nighke shoe?
It's our new brand. It's called Nighke. We're actually coming out with shoes called Nighke. Yep.
Oh, I love that.
Nighke.
Right.
Nighke. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I follow you now.
But anyways, if we come out with our Nighke shoe in America, and it happens to have like a little swoosh, then we could probably get in a lot of trouble for that, and that can be enforced pretty easily. But if we're somewhere else, like say China, and it's a lot harder. It's not just a simple my attorney calls your attorney and you have to stop or else we go to court.
No, they just laugh at you.
They pretty much say, you're an idiot, go away.
Mm-hmm. Like we don't have to listen to you.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Which is unfortunate, Mm-hmm. What that means to the end consumer is that they get a product that's not real, not from us. I mean, the actual product they've knocked off doesn't look like our current product, but it has the same name and our logo on it. Mm-hmm. So, it does cause confusion in the marketplace for sure. From that perspective, I can see like owning a pedalboard company and wanting to make sure that no one's building stuff like mine, and to be honest, I thought the whole pedalboard thing when I heard on the 60 Cycle Hum podcast, mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be related more to how the slats go across, like the look of it.
Right. No, the look has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought. That was my first go-to. Like surely Creation isn't doing that. Their boards don't look anything like those that other companies. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't. I guess that's how I'm approaching it. Is I wouldn't want that confusion, but I don't know. I don't know, man. Like I know the owners of both companies, so. But I haven't talked to him about this at all. So,
right.
I don't know. Me personally, I'm not the type of guy that would patent gain control,
right.
on a pedal. and then say, nope, you can't call that gain. You know, I just that doesn't feel right to me. I mean, it probably could be done, not now, but it probably could have been done at some point in time. Mm-hmm. But it just doesn't feel right. So like that part feels weird to me. So I don't know. My question now is like, so what is creation going to do? You know?
I don't know. I really don't know. Well, they did just put something out today that is kind of comical. Like the day of recording, they just put this out. They actually introduced accessories for the company that gave them the cease and desist product, which I thought was interesting. I
guess if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, okay, I guess that's what we're gonna do. I was like, well, that's actually pretty clever because there's nothing there's no infringement there. Like, they're completely different things. I thought it was really interesting.
I guess if I can't make a pedal that has a gain control, I can sell knobs for the gain control. You know? Right,
exactly. That's kind of the attitude. I think they've got some other things up their sleeve. John has stated in a couple of Facebook groups that they've got a new design they're working on. So I'm sure, he's a smart guy, and they got good people over there. I think they'll come out ahead at the end of the day, but it's just a big speed bump for him right now.
Yeah. I mean, I do wonder what this means for all the other pedalboard builders, because you can't just you can't just cease and desist one company. Now you've got to not fight, but now you have to fight for your patent with everyone who builds a pedalboard where apparently, is used for pedals, is angled, and I guess cables can be attached to pedals or whatever.
Right. Pass through basically.
Yeah. I mean, so. My goodness, the amount of money that's going to cost to do that is astounding. And two, I mean, what's going to happen to everyone who builds pedal boards?
I know that's what's crazy. And so, like, to me, like companies like Creation and some of the other ones that make like these fancy, nice, pretty boards, like the company in question, like, is probably that's not going to be their customer anyway. Theirs is much more utilitarian. So why not, like, instead of like trying to drive other people out of business, why not just like license it to them or something? Make a few bucks off of your patent, and then they can continue to operate business and have a different customer base than you do. So that's my kind of thought on it.
Yeah, I mean, it might look really big to a lot of people, but this industry is actually quite small.
Yes.
The consumer, the base of consumers that use our stuff is not a gigantic base like an iPhone base. It's. I mean, the people that buy high end stuff is pretty small. I mean, it's as far as industries go.
Yeah. So
I mean, like I understand if someone came out with a Euphoria overdrive. I totally get that. That's not good. Don't do that. Mm-hmm. But if someone comes out with an overdrive, I don't think I'm going to send a cease and desist to them.
No, exactly. That's kind of my look at it too.
That's probably oversimplifying things a lot. So I don't. This isn't a Mac McGovern is all for one pedalboard company and not the other. Like I'm really like I see both sides of the coin. And it's a very sticky situation. And, at the end of the day, like, there's got to be a solution other than everyone else stop making pedal boards.
That's
my
thing.
The licensing, I think the licensing thing is a really good idea.
I can't imagine why that. I mean, I don't know. That would be what I would think would be more logical. Because then, I mean, to be perfectly honest, you're tapping into a customer base that's not yours and getting money, income to your company and not have to do any of the work.
I mean, I don't know, but I would think this situation could possibly leave a bad taste in a person's mouth if they didn't like how it was going to, and one, if they misunderstood it, and two, if they just didn't like it. They didn't like the situation. You know what I mean? Like,
I've already seen that. That backlash has already happened.
Has it? Okay. Mm-hmm. See,
people are like, well, I'm not going to buy from them ever, basically.
That's unfortunate because they're both good guys. Mm-hmm. And, they both have good products. And I distinguish them totally different from me, like worlds apart.
I agree.
The difference between, Eventide and Dan Electro. Well, that's not bad. I mean, I'm thinking as far as price. You know what I mean? Because it's a whole different consumer. You have one that's in a lot of stores, and then you have the other one that's in, a very select, more high-end boutique-y stores, So it seems like a whole different customer. I don't know. It's a weird situation. I'll be anxious to see how it all shakes out.
Yeah. It's hard to critique. It just, outside looking in, like I said, I think licensing just seems to make more sense. There again, we're not close to the situation, so
that's true. Who knows?
But
well, and on the heels of that, I'd like to announce my new pedalboard company. Mm-hmm. We're going to it's going to be called McGovern Pedalboards.
McGovern Pedalboards Incorporated.
McGovern Pedalboards. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think we're going to patent the use of any sort of pedal platform at all. That's my plan.
What if I just put my pedals on the floor? Does that make it a pedal platform?
That floor is now a pedal platform.
You're gonna cease and desist me?
I will gladly license that floor to you.
How much do you want for me to use the floor?
Well, it just depends how much you make a year. No, that's where we need to start.
Man, Mac McGovern, you drive a hard bargain.
All right, so I can't beat that horse anymore.
No, we've killed it.
I have, like I said, if this is intentionally vague for everyone listening to this, and
right?
So,
if you really want to dig into it, the information's all out there. Just get into your favorite gear media or gear forum where people are talking. You'll probably see something about it.
But and I would leave everyone with this caveat. Don't judge too quickly, because there's always more going on behind the scenes than what you see and what you know. There's always a lot more, and it's always a lot more intricate, and it's not always quite so easy to connect the dots.
Right.
Whenever you're on the public side of the business stuff. Mm-hmm. I know that seems weird to say, but unfortunately, it's true.
That's good advice.
So don't be so quick to judge. Reach out to both companies if you have any questions. I know both those guys. They're both great guys. I'm sure they would love to, answer any of your questions about it. And that's what I got.
Yeah, as much as they can anyway. They may be a little bit tied up right now.
Well, yeah. Don't email them and say, something like, "So can I have a black pedal board? Is that not good?" No stupid questions, like serious questions, serious inquiries, Because to be honest, I have both of those companies' pedal boards, and I will continue to use both of those companies' pedal boards. Mm-hmm. I will. That's just me, Yeah. So if anyone you have anything else to add before I close us here, Blake?
I don't think so. I think I've said all that I really have, the ability to say. I'm sure if I knew all the details, I'd have a harder opinion. But right now, it's just, I've kind of said what I have to say.
So that's the way the cookie crumbles then.
Pretty much.
All right. So if anyone has any questions, email info@tonemobpodcast.com.
No, just info@tonemob.com.
Info@tonemob.com. Hey, I'm trying. I've been studying. Or podcast@wamplerpedals.com, or both. Mm-hmm. You can also check us out on Facebook. We have the Wampler Pedals Tone Group, and you have the Tone Mob Podcast Group, I believe, right?
Just the Tone Mob. The Tone Mob. You'll see the Tone Mob Facebook group. It don't get any easier than this, Brian. I'm
going to start, 1, a new website that's tonemobpodcast.com, and 2, a Facebook group called Tone Mob Podcast. And I'm going to license it to you. And then will you do a unofficial fan podcast? Well, I think my buddy Leon already suggested he was going to do the Tone Slob podcast. That's a definite good idea. So anyone out there, make sure you email us if you have any questions or insults or comments or anything like that. And a special shout out to Andreas, who sent me an email today that said we were certifiably crazy.
And he knows us well.
Yes.
That is true.
Yes, you have determined the truth. Mm-hmm. And for that, I will talk to you next week. Everyone have a great week, and we'll catch you later.